Hello and welcome to the Legislative Report. I'm State Representative Sue Helm of the 104th District in Dauphin County. Despite the winter weather, hundreds of thousands of people attended the 98th Pennsylvania Farm Show in Harrisburg. The dual mission of the show is to highlight and honor our farmers and food producers while educating the non-farming public about the industry. The Farm Show is the largest indoor agricultural event in the nation, and I was pleased to be able to visit this year. I spoke with several folks from our area as well as the Secretary of the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture. I'd like to share those conversations with you now. Well, I'm at the 98th Pennsylvania Farm Show with Secretary Gregg. And Secretary Gregg, this is your third farm show, I believe, as Secretary?
I believe so, yes.
So how's it going?
We're having a fantastic fair or farm show. This is, we get the actual farm show weather this year, which has driven the attendance down a little bit. Some of the food people are, they were spoiled last year because we had 585,000 people through here last year. So, but other than that, everything's been going real smooth. Pennsylvania Farm Show is a showcase of Pennsylvania agriculture, and we have just about any kind of agriculture that you would like to see here in Pennsylvania.
You know, you mentioned the weather. I mean, it does have a tradition of weather. I actually went to Florida for a few days over New Year's, and when I tried to come home, my plane didn't leave, and I said I had to get back for the Pennsylvania Farm Show, and right away they said, you know, traditional weather always snows for the farm show, so you even know that in Florida. But I think by the end of the week it's supposed to get a little bit warmer, so people will probably start to come out as the week goes on, because it's a wonderful event and no one should ever miss this. But this is like the state fair sort of institution. Like, tell me, what's so important, like across the state, that everybody comes here and we meet here and we do this?
Well, you start off in the fairs. A lot of these people that show animals here start off in the fairs, and the first place winners go on to regional meeting districts, they call them, and then those winners come to the farm show and they compete here. So the competition here is for the top honors of the state. So you get the bragging rights of the state of Pennsylvania when you win here at the farm show. And you know, we have a showcase of agriculture, our heritage, our history is here in Pennsylvania. And Pennsylvania is in the top 10 in so many different areas of agriculture that it's just amazing to me.
So it starts out with the local county fairs, and I know we have the Gratz Fair in Dauphin County, and there's also the Lebanon County Fair, which I attended this year. I know I was at the Gratz Fair with you, so you kind of know what we do here in Dauphin County.
Yes.
And what you said about, you know, people participating in those fairs and coming here for state titles, like I know that my Gratz Fair Queen is here showing market goats. In fact, probably right around now she's selling her goats. So it's really great for the young people to participate at the local level, then, you know, come up to the state level.
And fairs are a big economic driver for Pennsylvania too. They did an economic impact study on the fairs, and it was millions and millions of dollars of tourism money and you know, just economic impact that each or that all the fairs combined put into the Pennsylvania economy. And the farm show is no exception there. It puts approximately $70 to $80 million into the economy of the Harrisburg area just for the 8 days that it is here.
Well, what's the theme this year of the Pennsylvania Farm Show?
Pennsylvania Farms Growing for You. So.
And I think that that's what they do. I attended an event at a local Giant with you this year about bringing local produce into the Giant.
That's correct, and we're very appreciative of Giant. Of course, PA Preferred, you're familiar with that because you were involved in the PA Preferred program, making PA Preferred the permanent branding program of Pennsylvania Ag Products. Well, Giant has agreed to have all of their milk, their liquid milk, come from Pennsylvania, and by doing that, by buying local and doing that, it increases the economies in the local communities and supports the local farms.
And are other stores also putting like local produce in their stores?
A lot of them are local grocery stores are doing that in areas. Pennsylvania has a great fruit and vegetable industry here, and I think that it started out because of our location. You know what they say, location, location, location. Well, we're within an 8-hour drive of like 80% of the population of the United States and about 60% of the population of Canada. So we have the consumers, we have the customers, and I think that market brings out the opportunities for Pennsylvania farmers.
Well, I know I love walking into a store and seeing local produce. I always go there first and look at it. And also we have the farmers markets, and I believe the farmers markets have a program too they're trying to, talk about nutrition and get people to buy good produce.
Yes, we have several different programs with those. We have senior nutrition market coupon program where we give $20 coupons to our senior citizens to help them to purchase local fresh fruit produce.
We have a lot of animals here at the farm show, and people have dogs and cats at home that they take their animals to the veterinarians, and I know that the farmers need a good veterinarian also. So tell me how important, do we have enough veterinarians in Pennsylvania?
Well, there is definitely a shortage for large animal vets. Of course, dogs and cats, I think we have sufficient numbers for dogs and cats and small animals, but large animals, which Pennsylvania is fourth in the nation in dairy production. So that is going to be a problem. In some areas it already is a problem, but we have the University of Pennsylvania, which is the only large animal vet school in Pennsylvania, and so we're happy to have that. And I know that there are scholarship programs to encourage that, and we're encouraging those large animal veterinaries to stay in Pennsylvania.
Well, that's interesting. So we have some high school students watching this. It would be a good profession for them to go in, and they can inquire about a scholarship.
Exactly.
Would they call the Pennsylvania Department of Ag to find about the scholarship?
They can call us, and we can send them in the right direction. I know that Pennsylvania Farm Bureau has it's called Dick Newfer Scholarship Program for large animal vets. It's with the Pennsylvania Farm Bureau.
Well, we definitely need the young people to get interested in agriculture because it is Pennsylvania's #1 industry. So just tell me more about, what we said we're #1 with Pennsylvania being #1 agriculture. Just how does that, I know that you talked on Saturday about produce and fruits. I think that Pennsylvania is in the top 10 across the nation.
Yes, we're #1 in mushrooms, we're #3 in butter, and #4 in dairy production. We're 3rd in apples. So we're in the top 10 and top 5 in a lot of areas. We talked about youth a minute ago. This last 2 days, yesterday and today, was a midwinter convention, FFA convention here. We had 6,000 FFA students here.
Wow.
And the governor spoke to them, and we awarded I think it was 351 Keystone degrees, which the Keystone degree is the top honor that they can receive in Pennsylvania. But I'm very pleased with the number of youth that are involved. We also have a Farm Show Scholarship Program, which we did this morning, and we awarded 25 students with $3,500 scholarships. We raise money here at the Farm Show and throughout the year to provide those scholarships. And last year we spent our millionth dollar towards scholarships of rural youth, people who have shown at the Farm Show. So that's a very important program, and It's fresh in my mind because this morning we just awarded those scholarships for this year's batch of students.
Well, I know in the past I had students that received those scholarship awards. This year I didn't, so I'll have to encourage my young people to work towards that because it's, it's really a big help when you go to college. I know that you have a farm, and I also know that your wife is here and she's so active. I just see her everywhere in the farm show. Could you just tell me how she supports you as Secretary of Ag and what all she does here at the farm show?
Oh, she's a great lady. She supports me not only here but back on the farm. You know, she's kind of graduated to large equipment now, so she's running some of the large equipment because I don't make it home that much anymore. But she is, in the future, she's actually a certified judge for pageants, beauty pageants, and she is going to judge the State Fair Queen pageant. The night before last, she was here. We had our first ever rabbit hop competition, and she actually won it. She's very competitive, and I told all of her competitors to beware because she is a competitive person. But she has just been there support for me for everything that I've done in this job, and I can't say enough good about her. Yesterday, I spoke to the Society of Pennsylvania Farm Women, 100th anniversary, and she went with me. So, very good prop yesterday. She's a very good example of a good wife and a good helpmate.
Well, I know I was impressed with her because she remembers me every year, and that's always nice when somebody remembers you, but I just see her around here. But tell me, the rabbit hop, what exactly is the rabbit hop?
Well, they have hurdles for the rabbits to jump over, just like you would in a horse, where the horses jump over. And this was the first one, so it's brand new for me. But we had several different celebrities, in just like the Grape Stomp that you were in last year. And this was a new event, and they timed them and deducted for the bars that got knocked down, just like you would in a horse jumping contest.
And she won. That's terrific.
She won.
And we have one other monumental thing this year at the farm show. It's 60 years for what?
60 years for the milkshake. And I have to tell you that we had an event at the milkshake booth this week already. We have 3 young ladies that are serving milkshakes that have been here for every 60 of the 60 years. And one of them was 21 when she started, one was 24, and one was 30. So they are 81, 84, and 90 years old. And they worked every day. They did not work Sunday, but they're here serving milkshakes. And I think that's the only food booth that has not complained about the lack of attendance. So I think that more people probably drink milkshakes, and that's what they come here for than a lot of the other food products.
Well, I know I've been coming here for a long time. I don't know if I've been here all 60 years, but I bet I've had 60 milkshakes in the time I've come. So let's have a toast to the wonderful milkshakes of the Pennsylvania Farm Show.
98th Pennsylvania Farm Show.
Now at the 98th Farm Show, I'm with Caitlin Moss. And Caitlin, I first met you here at the 4-H Fair. What were you doing when I met you? It wasn't the farm show, it was the 4-H Fair, just so people know there's 2 different events that happen here. But what were you doing when I first met you? That was a couple years ago.
Well, I had goats and lambs that I showed, and I also had horses. And pretty much it's kind of the same thing as what's going on right now. It's just the 4-H Fair is our county level, where this is the state level.
Well, that's interesting because I was just talking to the Secretary of Ag, and he said about how, young people start at the county level and then progress to the state. So you're a perfect example of how that would work. Now, the second time I met you was at the Grass Fair when you were crowned the 2013 Grass Fair Queen. So tell me about that experience and what you've been doing since you were crowned.
Well, I gotta say it was definitely a great experience. I wasn't sure, going into it what to expect, but it's definitely made me a stronger leader and just better public speaking. Now that I have been crowned, I've come to the farm show. We did a Farm City Day tour for inner city kids to kind of learn, about agriculture and farm life. And then next up, I have at the end of this month the Pennsylvania State Fair Queen competition, and that is the January 23rd to the 25th, and that's pretty much like the county level, except your state Fair Queen instead. So
it keeps you busy all year. And I'll be rooting for you on January 23rd and 25th, you said? Well, that's wonderful. Now we're at the farm show, and this morning I believe you had a goat that you had auctioned off and was sold. Could you tell me about how you got the goat originally, how young it was, and you raised it, and now you brought it here to sell it?
Well, you buy them at about 3 months old, maybe a little bit younger. I usually get them in like March at the beginning of this year, and you pretty much raise them and, make sure you have the right feed and everything. And then when the judge looks at them, they're market animals. So he's feeling for muscling and, how well they'll go for food. And now that he's sold, he'll go off to auction and everything. And I'll do the same thing with my lamb. So.
Do you feel you got a good price for him?
Not as much as I was hoping. I lost off about $50 on him, but that doesn't include feed. But, I have a passion for it, so that's okay. You win some, you lose some.
You'll keep working at it. And now we have a lamb here, wonderful little lamb. And tell me what's going to happen with this lamb.
It's going to be the same thing as the goat. I was actually out talking to some more buyers, trying to, maybe get a little bit more money for this one, because it's nice to actually make some money off of them too, so it'll be the same thing.
So you can go around here and meet the buyers and actually tell them about your animals? Well, that's kind of neat. So now tell me what's your future? What are you hoping to happen in the future after this farm show's over?
I'm a senior in high school this year, so college is kind of the next thing that I'm looking at. I'll probably do hack for 2 years, because it's cheaper and I can get my general classes out of the way. And then I'm actually looking at either Penn State or Iowa State, for, moving on into ag business because they have really good programs there. So probably something in agribusiness or production agriculture.
Well, glad to hear that. I'm a graduate of Hack, so I think Hack's a good school. You'll do well there. And I guess I'm rooting for Penn State. But wherever you think is the best school for you, we want you to go there. And thank you so much for being here. We appreciate everything you're doing and being a perfect example of what young people can do and everything that you should be as a young person. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me.
And now at the 98th Farm Show, I'm with Ashley Shaw. And Ashley, we're about ready to start working on the Sheep to Shawl contest here. How many years have you been in this?
Probably about 6 or 7 years. I've been doing this between the years I spent in the Fleece to Shawl contest, and now this is, I think, my 3rd year in the Sheep to Shawl contest.
And tell me a little bit about your weaving here. I love your colors this year. Actually, you always match what you do. You always dress accordingly. So tell me about the colors here.
Well, this year we were deciding on what theme we wanted to go with, and we wanted to pick some products from Pennsylvania, and we decided to do wine and cheese since we know several people that own wineries in the state of Pennsylvania. Here we have our shawl. It's dyed several different varieties of pinks and purples, and we actually dyed our warp, which is already on the loom here, out of wine from different wineries. That's what we used. We didn't use any acid dyes. We used all blends of wines to do that. And the wool actually came from my sheep. I raise Leicester long wools. They're on the United States Conservancy list, and they're in critical. And so we took all the wool from my sheep. It was only off of one, and we carded it, and we cleaned it, and then we spun it to make the warp that we have here today. And the sheep we'll be using in the contest, her name is Flo, and she's also a Leicester long wool.
Now, when you say you'll be using her in the contest, you're going to tell me what you're going to do with her in the contest.
As soon as they say go, we're going to have our shearer, who is Nate. He's going to be shearing her belly, and then he'll shear all the wool off of her so that way we can use it to finish our shawl here today.
All right. So at one time, did you have to like shear her to start this, like maybe a year or so ago, or how does that work? Or like when you have here, where did that wool come from initially?
I shear my sheep twice a year, and I have more than one. So I have wool at home that I use we all work together to card it and spin it from prior shearings. Now today I brought her into a coat specifically for today's contest that we'll be shearing her here. And then she'll get a little blanket on her because right now is not the prime time to be shearing her with the negative degrees outside, but I will blanket her and then she'll go home and she'll stay nice and warm.
But for us non-farm people, how many times a year do you actually shear a sheep?
It depends. I have a Leicester long wool breed of sheep, so their locks of wool get really long, and we usually only shear them once a year. Other breeders tend to do it twice a year. It really just depends on what breed of sheep you raise and how long their wool gets and how long it takes to get to that length.
And how long this particular sheep, how long have you owned her?
I think she's about 4 years old now. So I've owned her. She's been a lamb. She was born at our house, and I've raised her ever since, and she's been with me the whole time. She was actually one of my first Leicester long wool babies.
And she's like your favorite pet, right?
Yeah, she is. She has a special place in my heart.
I see the wine over here. Is that some of the wine that you use to dye your yarn here?
We actually just have juice in our cups. But yeah, we do have several different kinds of wine in the bottles that's sealed on display that we use.
Well, this last year you were the Lamb and Wool Queen. You were crowned last year, and now started the farm show this year. Somebody else was crowned. But just tell me about your year that you experienced as Lamb and Wool Queen.
It's been really different. One of the things I tried to stress over my year as the Lamb and Wool Queen was the fiber aspect of it, because a lot of girls they know a lot about the meat portion and the market animals, and not as much about the fiber all the time. So I've been trying to stress that, as well as touching on the meat side. I've traveled around to different schools around the state, gone to inner city programs, and I've taken sheep with me. So that was a really interesting part, was walking through Philly with a little lamb on the sidewalk. I also went to some Farmer for a Week camps, and I did spinning demos, weaving demos, went to nursing homes, and to a couple different agricultural events like Ag Progress Days, Farm City Days here at the Farm Show, and also at the PA State Farm Show last January.
Well, it seems like you're a really busy girl. Just tell me a little bit about yourself. Like, you're young, so I could ask you how old you are. How old are you?
I'm 21 years old. I'm currently studying agribusiness at Delaware Valley College. This should be my last year. I'm scheduled to graduate in the spring. And as far as what I want to do when I grow up, I'd either like to look into continuing my education to go into ag education, or my family owns a yarn shop right now, and we're looking to expand it into a fiber mill. So that's something else that I would like to do too.
That sounds interesting. Like, you have quite a future ahead of you. You've done so much in the years that I've known you up here. Like, every year I come to the farm show, I always look Ashley up because she's just a wonderful young lady, and I just love to see what she does every year here at the show. So thank you so much. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about the show, what you've done this year or anything?
I've done a lot of different things. I have my sheep here, the sheep de shawl. Between my brother, sister, and I, we also have goats and pigs and rabbits, and I actually got reserve in the rabbit show with my giant Angora this year. So we've been really busy, and if you guys want to come on down and check out the farm show.
And your brother is Tyler. Right now, he might be here, but he's doing something else right now in the show. Tell me what he's doing.
Yeah, he normally is our shearer, but he qualified to go to the next level with his farm safety team. It's like a quiz bowl, so he had another commitment with that team today.
And then you have your sister Madison, who I believe is in the fleece de shawl. I believe she did that earlier today, right?
Yeah, she did that earlier today. I think they got third place, which was pretty good. I'm just glad they all finished.
So am I. Well, thank you so much. We always appreciate talking to you.
Thank you.
And now I'm with Angie Shaw, the mother of Ashley, Tyler, and Madison Shaw. Angie, tell me, what is it like to be a farm show mother?
It's a lot of fun. My kids actually look forward to this almost as much as Christmas. So
I know you've had to, teach them a lot, bring them up and, kind of get them here. I think that's just wonderful. But you were talking to me about PA Preferred products and how you kind of work it with your sheep to shawl here.
PA Preferred is a program to highlight producers and growers in the state of Pennsylvania and all of their products. And we currently the fleece that we actually use today are from our farmette. They're Leicester Longwool breed, and they are enrolled in the PA Preferred program. So we actually processed the fleeces, and we carded it and turned it into yarn, and then we hand dyed it using a PA Preferred wine as well. And this is what we're displaying today.
And are you a part of this sheep to shawl contest this year? And what do you do?
I am a spinner, and then I will also be plying our yarn as well, so that we'll have a 2-ply yarn, just to give the yarn more strength and things.
And I believe at home you have a yarn shop at home that people can come and buy yarn.
Yes, we do. We actually have Knitter's Dream, and we're working on just growing that with more of the fiber products and a lot of the fiber processing and things as well.
I didn't realize you had that till a friend of mine told me she was there and bought yarn, and when she was telling me, I said, I know who that is, so that's how I got to know about that. But do you also teach knitting? I mean, I think you...
Yes, we teach knitting and spinning and weaving and any fiber-related craft or technique that you would like to learn. We actually teach that.
So for somebody watching this program that would like to learn to knit, tell the audience how they would contact you.
They can actually contact us at www.knittersdream.com. We have email addresses on there, or our phone numbers are also on there as well. And we can do a one-on-one class with you, or we could do a class with a bunch of your friends. We also offer structured classes that are on our schedule on our website. So anytime you're interested in a class or something fun that you want to do with your friends, it's a lot of fun.
It is. I used to do that many years ago when I had the time to do it, and maybe someday I'll go back to it. But thank you so much. I think you're wonderful. I mean, I just love meeting your kids, and so appreciate it, and good luck today in the contest.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
That's all the time we have for today's program. I'm State Representative Sue Helm. If you have any questions about today's program or any state government matter, please contact me at one of my local offices. The information will be shown in a moment. Thanks for watching, and please join me next time for another edition of Legislative Report.